Good evening. Tonight's program, Germany's bishop goes bonkers for building. Eagles can't fly, at least not the Philly ones. The U.S. Post Office goes PC over some stamps. In Florida, the inmates not only run the prisons, but the release program as well. A 518-pound lion can't fly, and American misses Big Al. These stories and more on tonight's edition of the I'm Only Serious News' Sunday paper program.
It's the I'm Only Serious News Network with Dan Mahan, Dave Morrow, John Smarmy, Matt Reese, and Darren Martinez.
Good evening. This past week, schools across the nation had shutdowns and practice emergency sessions as again 2 more teachers have been shot. Whatever happened to just kicking their cars or flattening their tires when they pissed you off? And the worst part, both of these teachers were well liked by their students. Message to kids. There's plenty of a-hole teachers out there. Pick on them, would you? Cracker, please. In Utah, there's some bad news this week for the Boy Scouts. 2 longtime scout leaders were removed from their post in an incident that happened while they had their troops in a state park. The good news is, it was for being assholes, not for plugging them. Apparently they toppled over an ancient rock formation and are now facing criminal charges. Which is ironic. How every Boy Scout story ends with someone getting molested. Here's to your hard time, fellas. We'll still be doing. Speaking of scandals, the Navy got rocked by a bribery scandal for kickbacks given to naval officers from a supply company run by an Asian defense contractor. The bribery was for massive overbilling the contractor was paid for in exchange for prostitutes, fancy hotel stays, and the most damning of all evidence, folks, Lady Gaga tickets. Which brings into question, what types of prostitutes were they seeing? It led to a must-ask, must-tell situation. The NCIS is still investigating whether Lady Gaga is a woman. That's what they're looking into there. In Florida, a couple of fugitives are back in jail after they issued fake release documents to authorities, who then released the 2 life-term killers. Now, authorities are still trying to figure out how shitty documents were passed to those responsible for the inmates' release. I mean, who couldn't recognize the foul odor and poop-stained documents as forgeries? Come on, cracker, please. And America does miss Big Al, because apparently we are throwing up to 25% of our food away that we purchase. Yes, folks, Al's Encore is no longer with us. The U.S. Postal Service has halted production of its new stamps that illustrate exercise-themed caricatures. Titled, "Let's Move," these stamps show children at play, but not protected. One shows them skateboarding without knee pads. Oh dear. Cannonballing into a pool. Say what? Cracker, please. Don't do that. And another was for doing handstands without a helmet. What kind of half a tart does handstands with a helmet on? What's going on here? No wonder our society is turning towards a bunch of lard asses. Stopping that. No offense to anyone involved. Another eye-opening stat for the Obama Cares administration. Under Obama, folks, the U.S. deportation rate has spiked to 1.5 million in his first term alone. However, each deportee was given a care package courtesy of Obamacare. So there you go. Not all bad. In local news, another area lawmaker is under investigation. This time, State Senator Leigh Ann Washington had her offices raided by the Attorney General's investigative team. for suspicion of improper campaign activities. I mean, is it wrong that a campaign fundraiser happens to fall on your birthday every year? Cracker, please. There are offices in Philadelphia and in Roslyn, Pennsylvania, were the site of the investigations. Roslyn, by the way, is an archipelago of North Philadelphia, for those of you locals who know that. Also, local news, a Holmesburg woman caught her last bus as she was hit crossing Frankfurt Ave in Northeast Philly this week. The school bus was being driven by a trainee at the time, and police have said that no charges will be filed against the bus driver. The good news is that Mayor Nutter Butter Peanut Butter was there to present the driver with her new bus license when she got back from the accident scene. Way to go, Mayor. Next up, folks, is a little bit of a twist on the international flavor of news with our very own John Smarmy. Smarmy?
Dan Mahan, thanks again. I heard you've been doing roast. I'll bring the vegetables. That's my smarmy humor, folks. But anyway, in the news, Kelly Clarkson ties the knot. I think personally she should tie her tubes. But anyways, I love that What Doesn't Kill Me Makes Me Stronger song. Smarmy shakes it to that song, folks. No twerking though, just shake. Jenna Jameson's segment was cut short due to her odd behavior. I guess she came too quick. Or the segment was over too quick. You know what I'm talking about, folks. Demographic Congress under fire, no pun intended, for Burning Cross email. Some say it was racist. If someone left me a Burning Cross in my lawn, folks, I think it's a good gift. I mean, beside the history, the flames, I don't know. Hooters girl was fired for a creative hairstyle, an African-American woman. But I personally think they fired her because she wasn't an all-American woman. And by all-American, I mean white. Blonde hair, blue eyes. You guys have been to the Hooters before. Kaylee Ritzer, a Massachusetts math teacher, was murdered by a former student. And it was really horrible, really a tragedy. But I hate math. Math was always my worst subject. There's a few math teachers I would like to kill out there. Whoa, edit that out. I'm not supposed to say that. Allegedly killed them, as in give them one of these things. This news is horrible. Madonna sells her mansion. Who's going to pay all that money to remove that horse sign? Is what I want to know. That's going to cost a lot of money, even more than an MC Hammer sign, folks. A lot of people have been asking, does a woman's body age quickly? And I say yes. So all the ladies watching this, make sure you flash your cleavage and give your boyfriend lots of sex, because someday your parts may come to an end. Does a man walk differently when he's in love? Yes, he does. So ladies, if your man's walking like he takes it up the ass, he's crazy about you. Or maybe he just likes it in the ass. I don't know. Dan, Mahan, back to you.
Thanks, Sonny. Good job on the reporting there. In international news, take your seats. That's what was told to a 518-pound limey when he went to try and fly recently. The Brit was forced to buy 2 seats for his big ass. But unfortunately for him, folks, he was flying with Polish Airways, which assigned him seats in 2 different rows. Go figure. You know they just recently replaced their roll-up windows in them planes? And in Rome, the Pope has called a German bishop over to talk to him about his brand new building compound he had built for himself at the mere cost of $43 million. His explanation was that it included a theme park for kids, at which point he was given the okay. Go figure. In sports, the 76 Sixers made their final roster cuts. Since one player was as bad as the next, Coach Brown allowed the bottom 6 players to decide their own fate using rocks, papers, and scissors as their guide. One of the losers, Khalif White, a Temple grad, stated he would have won if they had used the 1 potato, 2 potato game. Maybe, Khalif. The Eagles quarterbacks, Michael Vick and Matt Barkley, were a combined 5 for 10 in passing to the Giants defense today. Cracker, please. Vick left with another injury, and Barkley claimed his dog ate his playbook. Kid, you're out of school now. Welcome to the big leagues. Rumor has it, though, that Tim Tebow will be bringing his circus act to town soon. The Fly Guys are, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but they are heading in the right direction, shall we say. 2 wins in a row does not a season make. Young captain Claude Giroux guaranteed the team will make the playoffs this season. Goalie Steve Mason has solved the netminder problems of the last 2 seasons, and maybe so. But just in case, GM Paul Holmgren has brought on Lance Armstrong as the new locker room physician. Go Flyers strong. That's their new motto going in. Flyers strong. And also, folks, Bernard Hopkins, Philly's ageless wonder, retained his IBF light heavyweight crown with a unanimous decision over Germany's Kato Marat. Now calling himself the Alien, Hopkins will turn 49 in January. Now, I'd say some smartest thing usually here, but I know better. He's a local guy. Way to go, champ. With a special look at this week in sports, we go to our own Matt Reese with his Married to Sports segment. Matt?
Thanks, Dan. You know what, man? When I was a kid, we used to teepee our teachers' lawns. It was the bee's knees. Welcome to Married to Sports! But as you know, Dan, I haven't been around lately because I actually got married for real.
Well done.
Thank you, thank you. So let's get to the sports, man. So in the sports, the Eagles, well, I didn't get to see the game because I was at the new in-laws' house. And the new father-in-law, he was watching golf, you know. So I had to miss that one. Well, the Flyers played, but I couldn't watch it because the wife TiVoed Dancing with the Stars, and kind of had to watch that.
Sport in its own way. Sports in its own way.
Yeah. Hey, man, did you see the WWE pay-per-view?
Yeah.
I didn't. I wasn't allowed. It was too much money. The wife was like, that's too much. And the Sixers, you were talking about all that stuff? Well, I didn't get to hear any of that shit. Because I was out that night with my wife's 2-week anniversary since we got married. It was a big deal, Dan.
Very important.
Well, that was Married to Sports!
And now for our entertainment news, our very own expert, Darren Martinez. Darren?
I want to talk about Machete Kills because I finally got a chance to see it. Finally got to check it out. And it was dumb, of course. I knew it was going to be dumb. I didn't expect anything else. And it was like a parody of the first one, sort of. It was like, remember the first Austin Powers? And you were like, oh, how did they get sillier than this? And then they made the second Austin Powers. That's what they did with Machete and Machete Kills. And then they showed a trailer for a third Machete. So spoiler alert, there's a third Machete coming out. And this one's in space. Machete in space. Which is, of course, that's where you want to take him.
They should have combined that with Gravity, maybe, right?
Yeah.
You got a movie.
You could have saved him.
Yeah.
But, so next week there's a couple good movies coming out. I'm probably not going to check out. But I also got a chance to see a few other films today. I got to see The Conjuring finally, which is a very overrated horror film in my eyes. I didn't really think it was that scary, and maybe it's because I think The Exorcist was just such a good film that
that's
it's
tough
so
one to
hard
beat.
it's so hard to be like that, and so many people try to emulate it, and you can tell like they're trying to pay homage to Alfred Hitchcock and all this crap like with birds and stuff, but I want to see the film for a really good monster. I want to be scared, and I didn't feel like I got any of that from this film. So Conjuring.
And what number did that come in?
That's not the well, I mean, I think it's still out there, but I
Okay.
don't, yeah.
That number's on in yet.
But so another film I saw, this was today, and I actually, believe it or not, it was earlier today when we got to the studios real early. I saw Dave Morrow there, and he was writing something. I said, we want to check out Hulk versus Wolverine.
Wasn't a book, I can tell you that.
Yeah. So we saw Hulk versus Wolverine. It was great. It was blood. And Wolverine versus Hulk. Hulk smash. Snicked.
Who won?
Well, you have to check it out. I want you to check it out.
All right.
But of course, there's not really the winner is me. I won because the film was
Yes.
so good.
Ah, nice.
So those are my movie reviews. Here's some other stuff that's right next to me. Lady and the Tramp, guys and gals, I love this film. Here's one, Road to El Dorado, never saw it. I don't know if it's any good. Beauty and the Beast, guys, I love it. Back to you, Dan.
Thank you, Darren. Next up, folks, is our weekly Dave Morrow update with his Mystic Minute. Dave?
Yes, thank you, Dan. Hello and welcome to the Mystic Minute with Dave Morrow. I am your host, Dave Ron Morrow, and we shall discuss the bizarre and insane forces driving this world. I'm a bit under my usual general level of fitness. I recently had a bout against my arch nemesis Pierre Lapierre, the cannibal midget cult leader I've been pursuing across South America for the past few months. I've learned that I'm a bit out of practice with the psychic jujitsu.
Many of us are.
Yes. It's an ancient telekinetic technique that essentially attacks the same neural pathways as phantom limb pain. It's associated with people who lose limbs, except it's all in the two combatants' minds. When you eat, as my old friend Lapierre has, when you eat an entire cult of midget suicide followers, gives you a bit of an unfair advantage. They gang up on you. They're small, but in numbers such as those, you don't really want to.
Like a basket of wings, almost.
Yeah. Like you almost want to have like a shovel or something just to like throw a few of them off in sort of one swing. Moral of the story is, folks, always keep your mental faculties in order. Practice psychic jujitsu daily. You never know when you might need it. Back to you, Dan.
Thank you, Dave. And I thought only yawns made other people tired. Well, that's it for this edition of the I'm Always Serious News Network's Sunday Paper program. Please join us again next week. I want to give our thanks out to Matt Reese, Dave Morrow, John Smarmy, Darren Martinez, and for all you for watching. Thank you. Have a good night. In local news, another area lawmaker, had her offices